Good morning. You're watching Our Southern Virginia Life. It is an absolutely beautiful day today, October 29th, 2024. Blue skies, a little bit of light wispy clouds here and there. The sun is shining. I have no idea what temperature it is. I'd say it's high 60s, low 70s. It's about 11:45 in the morning, almost noon. And working on changing my solar array around. So I'm working on a little rack mount here. I'm going to move a couple panels off of that array back there. 3 panels on each array. I'm going to make it 2, and I'm going to put the other 2 on here and bring them up front for the mini split. Anyway, that's a video for another time. So thinking about the election, and the last thing I really want to do is get political, and I try not to, and it's not political in the sense of yay Republican, boo Democrat, or yay Democrat, boo Republican. I think most people that know me or have been here long enough kind of know where I stand with that. But here in Virginia, we have early voting, right? And we've had it for, I think, the beginning of the month. I don't know. We voted a couple weeks ago. And so in the old days, when I was a kid, back, when we shoveled coal into the stove at school to keep the school heated. Not really that old, just kidding. But back in the old days, when I was a kid, everybody in the country that voted did so between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. on election day. The polls opened. I could be wrong about the times. They could have opened a little earlier. I don't think so. I think they opened at 8 a.m., closed at 8 p.m. I'm certain they closed at 8 p.m. And I remember going with my mom and dad to vote. Now, I didn't vote. I was a kid. They voted. And the lines were long because everybody in the country voted during that 12-hour period. And when you went to bed at night, if you stayed up late enough, you could know the result. But if you didn't stay up late enough and you went to bed, when you woke up the next day, the morning paper had the election result. This is your new president, right? Or this is the guy that was president and he's still president. And so that was a system that my whole entire life, from the time I can remember as a kid till very recently, worked. And now we're allowed to vote early, but they're just saying on the other day, like on the radio, we won't know the results of the election till maybe the next day, but probably more likely 2 or 3 days later. And I'm thinking, like, we should already kind of know. Like, we don't hear anything, but okay, Virginia, right? We opened voting at the beginning of October. How come we don't know who's ahead? Like, are they counting these votes? Are they going to still wait and count them all at the end? I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. So it's just curious to me that now that we've supposedly simplified the system and given people weeks to vote, we can't have the results the day after the election. Or maybe we can, but we don't know that. It's not definitive. They're saying, well, maybe we can have it the next day, but more likely it'll be 2 days or 3 days later. And my question is, why? Why is that? Why, when everybody in the country voted on one day, could you have the election 10 hours, 8 hours after the polls closed? I mean, the newspaper came in the morning, polls closed at 8. The newspaper came at 6. That's 10 hours. They printed it before then. So maybe they knew 6 hours after the polls closed. 7, 8 hours. I don't know. But now it takes days to know, even though people have already been voting for weeks. Don't understand it. And the good thing is I don't necessarily need to understand it, but I'd like to understand it. I'd like to understand why. I know that customer service is failing and breaking down. I know that everything doesn't work the way it used to, that we're devolving, right? I know that. Is that just part of that? Is that just another offshoot of that? More than likely. It's because the people that are doing the work there are knuckleheads. Back in the old days, they had adults that knew what they were doing. Now, that's not always the case. I don't know. Food for thought. If anybody knows anything, share it with me. If anybody has answers, enlighten me. God bless.